you have paid the lawyer to do all of this for you. Because most of the time, you do not do these things by yourself. If you don't involve the lawyer, you have not done anything. Because the lawyer is going to go through all of these processes for you, and then, of course, in the process of lodging with LIS, GIS, and all that, you're obviously going to get a number to, ensure that the deed has been affected. Okay? But I think the crucial information here is that the document might be brought to you without the number. If that happens, she's reminding you now that you need to do a follow-up on that and ensure that you have that number. Assuming the lawyer did not include the payment of that in the perfection for you. Okay? Now, development control / planning. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, town planning is a residual matter. This means that it is neither in the exclusive legislation list nor the concurrent list. As such, only the state government has power to regulate it. Even though at the end of the day, if you have issues, you must still go to the Supreme Court, which is federal, because in our constitution, whereas there's this division between, concurrent, exclusive, and residual lists, it is the Supreme Court, which the states don't have. And under normal federal arrangement, the states are also supposed to have Supreme Court, like what happens in the United States. Okay? Now, those are the challenges. So you need to be aware that in spite of all these theoretical explanations, you need to read between the lines in order to be able to comprehend, most of these issues that are involved. Pursuant to the exclusive jurisdiction of the states, the states enacted their town and country planning laws. Thus, investing in land requires an understanding of what kind of structures that may be erected or business that may be, done in a particular location as permitted by the law. Otherwise, the investor may find that he has expended huge sums of money on a piece of land that is not useful for this type of structure. I mean, within the federal territory, for instance, I don't know if you have started doing that here. It's supposed to be okay. But, you find in some places it is only residential. Some places it's commercial. Some places it's both residential and commercial. You can have a structure, one single structure that is both commercial and residential. In some places you cannot have commercial as long as it is only residential. Okay? Now, the process entails the submission of the architectural drawings of the proposed structures along with title documents to the relevant town planning authority for approval for the payment of the assessed fee. Evidence of payment, blah, blah, blah. Top paragraph. The process is regulated by the town and country planning law of Bendel. Okay? That is the Edo Delta State of 1976. As applicable in the then Bendel, which is now applicable in Edo and also applicable in Delta. That was the 1976 Act that I was referring to, even though I was almost contradicting myself by using the 1978 and using Act. Okay, where a land investor fails to obtain building plan approval and proceeds to erect a structure on the land, that structure is liable to be acknowledged by the government. We will see them, writing, using rates to mark all of these things most of the time. Have you ever seen, except in few cases, they hardly destroy all those buildings. As soon as you go and see them in the offices and all.
Thank you, Olato. How you
most of the time
doing?
they are waiting for you to do all those structures and come and mark it. By the time you do settlement and all of that, Madam is a labor leader, so she may not agree. But we also know this. Yes.
So if only you can go back to the slide, the one that talks about the process of submission. These architectural drawings, Please,
Awolowo,
I'm
thank
just talking
you. How you doing?
to my brothers and my sisters, because
Let me run
as
some
civil
shit.
servants, we do a lot of sacrifice. We don't eat well, we save a lot, we wear one cloth 1 year, 2 years in order to buy something for the future. Please, when your architect is doing drawings, subject your architect to other architects. There's what we call land space. Some of us, these land speculators, they will lure us to buy state land. And even when we buy genuine land, the setbacks that are supposed to be
Please
there,
subscribe.
it
Subscribe
will
to
not
my
be in
channel,
architectural
please.
drawing. They
Please.
say, Madam, leave it like
Awolowo,
that.
subscribe.
You go put stuff for
Chinaza,
inside.
subscribe.
You
All of you,
understand?
please subscribe.
So please, let your architect be professional. And when your architect is giving you advice, don't say, "Let me get the money." Tomorrow, you will regret it. Many Oga said something, he said they are not demolishing. I tell you the truth, there is a committee in the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. A lot of people are crying. Even though you don't see physical marks, there is a budget. We have state budget, national budget for demolition of defacing properties. So this thing is real. Well, we don't really have a lawyer to go through all of this, but let's be very attentive to this aspect. It may look abstract because all those sacrifices you made, at the end of the day, that small property you are able to buy, you go and build one thing, and after 5-10 years of retirement, the government will come with their caterpillar. If you like, swear from now till tomorrow, nothing will happen because you have done the wrong thing.
Very important advice. Yes. You see, even if our inputs so far are the things you have learned from this, program, it is very, very instructive. Yes, I, just from experience anyway, because most of the time you see all these markings. And then you go there next year, second year, third year, you find that these structures are still there. That's why for me, I'm just assuming that most of the time they don't do this thing. But you recall when Wike took over in Abuja, you can see a lot of demolitions that have happened there. So the point is that some of the time, this seems to be really, really true. Okay? Yet, even now that they are marked it and they are not demolishing it, like she said, so many years down the road, another leader might come and want to implement the laws to the letter, and then you are in danger. So don't take this simplistic view that I've expressed, as maybe, for granted, So this seems to actually happen. And that's why she's begging, especially for we civil public servants who have made so much sacrifices, and then you manage to own one hamlet, and then they're going to destroy it in the future, whether when you are around or even when you are gone. So it is better to do the right thing. Okay? I was not necessarily justifying the fact that most of these things have not been demolished. There have been instances where people have built their structures on, the waterways, because of these land speculators. Those ones have been actually demolished. But the ones I was referring to is that, I have a compound here now, and then I built some other thing inside, and then you see people from the fiscal planning coming to market, red. Okay, they put bad on it. I've never really seen most of those structures destroyed. Those were the ones I'm referring to. Because as long as it's within your compound, most of the time, according to what she's saying now, that could change anytime. It depends on the administration. Okay? Even though it's a compound that you have owned for 50 years, and you put a structure there that was not originally in the architectural drawing, it could have serious implications. Nobody is saying that you don't put any other structure with it, but you must go to the ministry and ensure that those things are properly documented. If they give approval, then you can go on. If no approval, desist from it. Okay? A bill plan for justification, bill plan may be justified on the ground that it raises a presumption of regularity against the agency of government and granted it in favor of the grantee, asserting its title based on what happened with the Farmer Supply Company, of 2019. So that just the post-investment obligation. What are the obligations? Post-investment obligation. Having acquired land, referring to all those legal, terms that governs investment on land and properties. Here we refer to the obligation of the investor after the investment. There are some rates and charges which a landowner may be required to pay to the government on an annual basis. This varies from place to place. I mean, that's a fact. Okay? You pay ground rent every year. You pay taxes, you pay all manner of things depending on the state. What they pay in Akwa Ibom is kind of different from what they pay in Rivers, Dito, Edo, and perhaps Delta. So you must know that this thing is a container. After all, the land is only on lease to you. You must pay tax on this, property. Now, in Edo State, as in Delta, to a large extent, there is the land use charge law of 2023, modeled after that of Lagos State. The law is the bundle of 3 charges comprised of tenement rate, property tax, and ground rent. So there are even 3. Okay? It is payable by property owners. Both the property tax and the ground rent is for the state, while the tenement rate is for the local government. It is an annual payment which may be reviewed at least once every 5 years, even though most of us don't pay this rate, because this is the part of the world where we expect the government to do all things for us, and we do nothing for the government. Okay? What do I mean by that? You pay tax, for your income, your salary. Okay, you pay as you earn thing. That's what most people pay here. You see the excuse my auntie is giving her. Say because she did borehole for herself, she's buying generator or using solar that the government is supposed to provide.
Yes.
Yes.
She's correct now.
The time, no, you cannot overgeneralize. If you don't pay, let's say, 80% of us in this, class now don't pay. How is the government going to get that money to provide you with that, water system that you need? How are they going to be able to provide electricity? Because many of us don't pay. That's why we have those challenges.
Is there like
It's a presumption. Yes, there's corruption.
You cannot pay for the service that is not provided. When the services are provided, you can pay.
Yes.
See, I'm not going to get anywhere.
You will not. You will not be saving yourself.
National resources.
Yes, now.
You go and get tomatoes from the market.
You want to pay the one they have, the one they are selling, the oil, everything. Where is money?
Yes.
Is there what? The road. Where the road? Where is the road? The one who are just managing for us.
Honestly.
Sorry, sir.
Listen. Let's just say.
You talk about the water system, the electricity. That was why I responded. Because all those things are supposed to be provided for you. At the end of the month, a bill will send to you. You will pay. That is how it works in the foreign country. You always referencing foreign country whenever you are giving your topic. So that was why I responded to you. They will provide all those amenities for you. Like there's what they call council tax. It's a heavy amount. It's like living in the in the UK,
At least.
you have to pay like 400,000 a month, just council tax. The council are doing so many things for you. They come and clear your refuge, do so many things, clear everywhere, and your road is well timed. Whenever there is a pothole, you don't need to call anybody. They are coming to maintain it to avoid accident. So in this scenario, there is nothing at all. No light, no water, no actually.
Honest, please, honest. Do you know how they got there in the UK? You know, UK is a developed country. What do we call our developing? Okay?
Nah, they were not developed, but they were intentional. Nigeria could borrow and use to buy a Homan car for themselves.
You know, carry out in the first place. Before I come to you, she was going to make a point. Yes, please.
The prof was saying that if when a new area is being opened up over there, before a house will be built on that area, the road is bad, like electricity is there, everything, the gas system, everything is working. Before they will erect a building and anybody can come and stay. But that is not what it is here. In that case, when your house is there, when you are asked to pay a tax, you will pay. Anything they ask you to do, you will do because the system is wrong.
Yes. This man is swearing.
My professor.
Because it comes to responsibility.
That's my lecturer, please.
Sit down.
I'm fine. I'm in the class, my guys.
You see, those are the development plans.
How are you?
It took them a while.
This will just
to
say
get
I
there.
another thing I do.
Here, you know, like I was saying that yes,
I'm in
even
the
in
class.
Abuja, in Rivers,
Ready,
Calabar, when you are, developing new areas, these things also apply. Now, for people from the colonial time, from the customary era to contemporary time, we build along streets. If you go to Akwa Ibom today, most areas are estates that have been, embarked from development. In Abuja, you have developers, all around developing property and all of that. And so all of these structures are put in place in order to encourage buyers. But in most of the areas, in most other states, people build their structures even without, planning. Okay, so you don't compare that to what happens in the United Kingdom, for instance, or the developed plan. Now, you cannot say because, in those days, we used to have pipe-borne water. Okay, we used to have in the era of
What is it now?
not NEPA. Before NEPA, there was ECN or something like that. All these things used to work. Okay, what happened as a result of misgovernance to a large extent? Yes, it is true to some extent that yes, there has been corruption. People have embezzled the state wealth and all of that. Then it is part of the problems that you and I have created. So you cannot continue to blame, those at the helm of affairs, government in everything. You must also look at yourself. That's why when I started, I gave the example of, looking at the mirror, to start with the man in the mirror. Don't put everything at the doorstep of government.
So that
you must also take responsibility. In a contractual, agreement between you and the state. The state has a responsibility towards you. Just like you have, responsibility to the state. In America, the popular dictum is that say not what America can do for you, but what you can do for America. The challenge is that there are no patriots in this part of the world. Ghana is even a lot better. And even all these other smaller, republic. Anyway, let's quickly run through the next slide. You were probably not, with all due respect, you probably were not, born in the era of the ECN, the era where we had. Is there anybody here who experienced pipe-borne water, when we were growing up? you experience, electricity, even though
But now
it
we
was
don't
not,
experience
also
it
that regular.
It was regular.
It was not regular that
No, it's no longer available now. So it's regular. It's no longer
there are a
available
lot
now.
of factors.
No.
There are a lot of factors that have contributed to where we are at today.
It is greed, sir. It's greed, sir.
You need to move on here because this thing will echo.
It's greed and selfishness, sir.
Was that the local council was talking about, it began somewhere. They move from airport to airport, right? So we as a developing country,
Yeah, thank you so much.
we have also reached a stage. The issue we have, even when we have the oil, the one said we have so much to spend, don't want to spend
Are
money.
you in Nigeria here?
You can go back to that stage. We had successes there also. What do we do with the money? The issue is misappropriation. Otherwise, how would that board and all of that? They were functioning. People didn't bother to talk about boreholes. I didn't see borehole what? With clean water and borehole.
Okay.
What are they? Go down to Ogogo, you find some high sleeping water are walking and not walking. The issue we have is not the money, but the leadership. How do we appropriate these things? The issue is with us. That's why we are going to task before we settle this.
Of grievance redress mechanism, the value chain of grievance redress mechanism, the barriers of grievance redress mechanism, then removing this barrier, how to remove this barrier. And first of this, I'll be chipping one or two into it. We are looking at the cause, what actually bring about this issue of grievances, right? Now, grievance, before I give you definition of grievance as is here, right? You can see it has to do with employee being uncomfortable, disappointed, or aggrieved about managerial decisions. Now, before you get to this point, as I said, there is something that actually happens which refers to as dissatisfaction. When we talk about dissatisfaction, is anything that disturbs, right? That you are not okay with, that disturbs